like center of the target, like right on the bullseye. But the 7th shot was never fired. The gun lays there, magazine out, the other one's still in the chamber on the table, but you have no idea where Talia Bones is. There's no sign of her. And on that note, this episode of the Winged Badger Tavern comes to a close.
Holy crap.
Stressed.
Oh, that you... Oh.
I just went there. I did it.
No.
And now, for what we call tonal whiplash, we're going to shift over for a second and talk about our character arcs. We don't have a tavern talk between this and the next stream. So we're going to talk about if anybody has made any big character steps before we cut things off here.
All right.
You've all got your character arcs in front of you. I'm going to go just around the group here. We're going to talk a little bit about it, see how we're doing, and for each of you. And then any predictions, reactions, anything like that we want to go through, process the episode a tiny bit, and then we'll call it a night. Let's start with Astro. Astro, remind us what your character arc is, where you're headed, and what comes next for you.
I am looking for that.
It should have been in here. Uh-oh, you don't have one.
It should be the first page of your XP rules if you got that one.
The XP rules are here.
Yeah, that page. Is that not it?
This page isn't it for Trevor, no.
Oh.
But it should be in this journal somewhere. Apparently it's not.
Okay.
I wonder if you took it with you when you took your old character sheet.
Here it is. Oh,
Great.
Sorry, it was on the old one.
Okay.
Recover from a wound or trauma.
Okay. What do you feel like you've taken the next step?
So the steps are self-care, take care of your own needs related to the trauma, getting aid, someone helps, medicine, some kind of drug cure, therapy, and then climax acceptance or recovery. I think with the letter, like resolving himself to resolving the issue,
right,
is probably a step.
Sure.
Towards that.
Okay. Where do you think it falls on your arc? Which step? And if it's not explicitly written, I do think it's a fair step and it could be injected as like just the next thing.
It's not written.
Okay, so let's add that as a step and you've got it. I think that's 2 XP for Astro at the end of this episode. And you can just mark that bubble or whatever for it. Let's jump over to Ronan.
Ronan had the classic redemption arc. First step in that was regret. You were determined to rebuild, recover, restore. We've already talked that we've got that one out of the way.
Yep.
I want to say if he hasn't done it 100%, he's at least started to confess.
I agree.
And I think that could count as that step because I feel like identifying the needs and confession could technically be the same one because you can confess and be like, okay, what do we need to do? Whereas we started to get that, okay, what do you think, blah, blah.
Sure.
But it was still a little hazy there. So I think I've gotten to confession after this session.
Great.
So that would be
That's
my
2
second
XP
one.
for you. And I do think after this, we're probably going to time skip for a little while everyone's on medical leave. So during that time, you could either be having renewed sessions with Victor Meridia, or if you want to pick someone on the crew to confide in, but whoever that is, that can be a downtime thing.
Now that I kind of have like a road path or kind of like somewhat of a road.
What do you think for Jacqueline?
All right, I'm making some big plays here.
Okay.
I would argue that because we didn't really have one between our last sessions. I'd say between the last 6 sessions, right, I have learned how to help manage the drop squad.
Okay.
And I think learned as much as I could from Putty. And I think, so there's focus on a problem, find a teacher, that was Mark.
Right.
Learn, and then climax is the test.
So you think the test was the escape?
Was keeping everybody alive in the moment and, doing what I was meant to do.
How do we feel about that? Do we all agree? Does that feel like maybe the culmination of what Mark has to teach Jackie?
Yeah.
I think it might.
I'd agree.
I think that's fair. So that's either 1 or 2 steps that you've finished.
I think tonight we also saw a lot more of Jackie acting freely.
That's true. Like starting to step into her own.
Except like almost turning this was the closest you've been to OG Jackie as you have been. So I saw that right away.
In that case, I think that would be 2 steps and finishing it.
Really?
Because
I agree.
The climax, the test, is finishing that arc.
So that's 2 XP for each step and 2 XP for resolving a character arc. That's
Yeah.
6 XP you just
Hell
gained.
yeah.
Like I said, making big play.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
And remember, you can start a new character arc anytime you want. So now or later, it just costs you an XP to begin.
I definitely will need to.
What about Mark Putty? You've got 2 going
I've
on
got
right now.
2, and I really don't. Well, with what
Wow.
Jackie just said, maybe my 1 is pretty much done or close to done. The 1 is instruction.
Okay.
And so the first few are basically just like teaching. Teaching's often slow, gradual process. Teach a lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
you've
brings
done
a
that.
pupil
You've
closer
definitely
to
done that.
achieving. It says 1 breakdown. Many times a student needs a moment of crisis to truly learn. I would say that's what this one is.
Sure. Jackie had a breakdown trying to explain to Talia and Mark not to go into that. Yeah. And it even failed. Like, you tried to do something, it didn't stop the problem, you had to react. So I agree, that would be breakdown.
Yeah. And then climax, I don't know if I don't think Mark has had his climax, his graduation. This is when you recognize that the pupil has learned all that they need. I think he was pretty much there. I mean, he's ready to give up
I think it's
on like feeling like he can do anything for her, but I don't know if that's really recognizing that. Like that's more just I feel like I'm so pathetic.
like you told Captain Gamma like you handed her off. And he did say to you, like, I think it's time for her to plug in a Spirit of Inquiry. And you said, that sounds good.
Yeah.
So I can see you, loopholing your way into saying that that's the resolution.
It may not be a positive one.
I was going to say, it's also possible for you to resolve a character arc and not have, it can be a negative resolution. So I think that still counts as you saying, like, the teaching is done. Like I've done what I can do, even if you think of it as being
I'm not worthy anymore to do it. But I mean, if we want to count that as a graduation, it says typically a dramatic moment. So
yeah, I do think that was a dramatic moment.
I think you dying. It was pretty traumatic.
I think it was a lot.
So I think that would count. So in that case, that would be the resolution of this arc for you. So 2 XP for the step and 2 XP for the resolution.
Okay. How many of these do I check? Just the last one and then the resolution.
However many were not checked yet. Like
I just don't remember if I
think you're the first
never
2.
checked it. Yeah,
so I think you're checking 3 bubbles and a resolution.
Okay.
So that's 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 points of XP.
Okay.
And actually, Jackie, you get 2 extra XP. I've just recalled that when you resolve a character arc, if you resolve the arc as a failure, you get 2. If you resolve it as a success, you get 4. I had forgotten to factor that in. So that's 4 for you and 2 for Mark. And then you have another arc, right?
Mine is develop a bond, and I don't really know if I've gotten too much further in that.
I mean,
and then you started like with Talia. And you were like,
you started developing a bond with Kyle, and then you sort of fell in love with Talia, and now you hate Talia again.
I haven't seen Kyle in a while. We just been down on green once. I haven't really had a chance. Like we've had every now
he's your
and again,
plus 1 on the next adventure, all right?
A bond with Drop Squad or something.
Bond with the Drop
That's
Squad. We did a little bit. I mean, I feel like I haven't really talked too much closely. It's mostly been business that we've been getting into.
That's
and
true.
now this I'm ready to
we trauma bonded.
We did Mark trauma dissociated. So I don't know if I've really gotten too much farther in that.
I wonder if there's an interesting Drop Squad arc appearing of like trying to bring Mark back from the brink.
He's definitely going to be quite sad and distraught. That whole conversation with Dean and like the just kind of like, I don't know, there's not really much else you can do. Like that was like nice, but it was more of a resigning. It's like, well, now I'm just kind of my own prisoner on this ship. And like, so I just have to fucking work.
That's what Ronan's kind of dealing with, though. He's like, he's a
maybe there's an opening here for like an interesting story moment if the two of you discover even what your shared past trauma is. Right, like both of you have heavy care related trauma.
That's I forgot about that with you until you said something earlier in the story. When you said that, it made me think a bit. I'm like, oh, you just opened up a lot. So I completely forgot that yours had to deal with heavy care as well. Till now.
Well, and I don't know that you actually know that as Ronan, right? Has Ronan discovered that?
I think Tyler didn't even know that. So.
I think we had said we talked about it in boot camp or something.
Oh, like, maybe you each of you discovered the secret, but it wasn't like you shared it openly.
Yeah, we were like each other's confidants. That's what we were, because I remember that part. Yeah. Okay.
So maybe there's something there we can explore in the next session.
Nice.
I think so. But anywho, so yeah, I don't think I've gotten too much farther than my develop a bond. It's just kind of been a lot of work, but
well, that's still a buttload of XP for you.
that's a good bit. Got me back up. After,
Yeah, we're doing good.
really didn't feel like that 4 was worth it.
Oh gosh.
Here you go. You get 2, and you all die in the planet. Isn't that a fair trade?
I love this.
Well, when you say it like that.
And you have to spend it to re-roll, and there we go.
So yeah, let's talk a little bit more about these 3 episodes, right? We started off with things seemed fairly exciting. We were like, oh, we're gonna get to go back down to Green 1. We made it through the storm. We were kind of mapping out. We got that cool tornado thing.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Tornado was dope.
I like that.
I bet that's gone.
We threw a lot of rocks.
You did throw a lot of rocks?
Did everyone get to throw at least one rock?
Well, not Jackie.
Did
I'm
you
not
roll?
sure.
I didn't
I'm not
throw
sure
it.
if
Yeah.
that's
Okay, I was about to say. I was like, I know we threw a lot of
But
rocks.
I told
was a
people to
rope
throw
manager.
rocks.
You were rope management. That's right.
Probably if everybody throws a rock, there's like an Easter egg you unlock, right?
Yeah.
Like the cool rock
That's what I
appears
mean,
back
like
at
I
the
was
research
saying.
center.
Something crazy.
I don't know why we chose to walk away from the tornado, but for some reason in a cave that's more dangerous with the cosmetically, we're like, let's move forward with
I think
this.
it was
Well, you-
because of the cosmetic.
Right, you knew cosmetalline was in there. That's the whole point
I was
of the
waiting
voyage.
for you to be like with that because you said the tornado was blue to me, and I was waiting for you to change the color on someone else because then I probably would have reacted.
Right.
But like you said, it was blue for everybody, so I was like, okay, well that's
You
not
made
our
the
stuff.
right call not stepping into that thing. It would have been
Good.
real hard to get back down again.
That's what I mean.
You had you'd figured out kind of the bit with it where it's like, oh, it's an elevator that only goes up kind of deal. It would have been really challenging to get down from that.
That's like we need the drop ship on standby.
Right. Yeah, that would have been like the spirit of inquiry catching you, light years away.
For a brick, he
Yeah,
flies
the
pretty
drop
good.
chasing you down. That's a good quote. I love that. Take an XP. Every Halo reference will receive an XP. Let it be known.
Cortana.
I gotta start analyzing these.
All right,
Dr.
time to
Halsey.
replay the Halo campaign.
Every good Halo reference.
okay.
I need
Receiving
XP.
Clever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cortana, I need an XP.
I need a weapon.
So,
I think I might work on like a skill training for the next one.
What was
I have 4 now.
What was before the cave, like the end of the cave? What was the part where you were the most concerned on Green 1? Either this set of sessions or the last set of sessions.
The corrosive cloud, probably.
I would agree.
Or Ronan falling into.
Mark going into cardiac arrest scared me pretty bad. When you said that, I went.
Well, it's after the cave.
It was like, yeah,
That is
that
spooky.
part was crazy.
I hear
When we
him
all were
just
dying.
basically feeling like we're all certainly dead.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Up to Jackie to save
fade to
all
black.
4 of us.
Okay.
Technically, she did.
So I do want to say, I know you asked a question, and we're completely ignoring it now.
That's fine.
Um,
I want this to go where it goes.
Yeah.
But meta-wise, I will say understanding that we didn't have to roll for it. We didn't take a ton of damage to get to that point. I'm like, he's going to throw us a lifeline here, right? He's not going to rocks fall. We all die without some way of recovering.
He wouldn't just 4 XP and that's the end of the campaign. I just want to be done,
4
you guys.
XP, but I
suckered
kill you
into-
all.
I suckered you all into a TPK.
There is a moment where you take a stick and you're like, I'm gonna wake this bear up, and you poke the bear, and then the bear looks up at you, and you're like, what have I done? But I did feel like it became kind of a really interesting narrative moment to like. Normally the explosion and the ringing ears and you go to like the strongest soldier, and instead it was like the least effective person to try and restore the crew. Like instead of waking up like, oh, it's Talia saving everyone or whatever, or Ronan, it's like, oh, we're watching like a computer that's stranded. Like I can't, like what does it look like to be dazed as an AI unit? What does it mean to be confused?
cool.
You drew a really cool picture with that, by the way.
I read
Thank
that.
you.
It was so
In
good.
the cloud, basically.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
You saw nothing
That was a
but
cool
data.
scene.
Like that was pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Felt like that Code Lyoko type of moment where she's walking into the tower and it's just data all around her. I feel like that's how you were.
Oh, no, I need to rewatch it. God, I love that.
But I will say that was
Wild.
that was just a wild, yeah. Because the first 2 sessions were like, this is becoming routine. This is becoming fine. And honestly, I was feeling a little like, let's just do something a little crazy.
Yeah.
That's why everybody, Jack is like, do it,
leave.
go,
Let
do
the
it.
science team figure this
Yeah,
out.
but I'm like, hey, what's the worst that could happen?
We destroy a planet.
That's when I talk about the stick and the bear. I'm like, okay, they're feeling really good. We should try and remind them the stakes of cosmetaline. Like, how can we? And not that I like upped the ante. That's how it was written.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, well, the reason it was a GM intrusion is because I was like, well, I think that it's fun to have the stakes reiterated in a big way. So I'm going to tweak. Like, Talia would probably not have normally done that. She's a very cool-headed, competent person. But it's much more fun to like, oh, let's remind ourselves what we're dealing with here. The power of the sun in the palm of my hand. And sort of, trigger that thing.
I mean, that was a very intense moment.
I was very impressed this session with Cleo's little, like, AI decisions. Like, I'm going to add a thing to your HUD, or I'm going to try and waypoint this.
Oh, that was so cool.
I thought that was really neat.
Good job.
Several
Cool
times
stuff.
you did something that I was like, that's not only cool, it's cooler than what I thought was going to happen to get us through this situation. Like, A+ maneuver.
I'm just trying my best.
And we lived.
Eventually,
Yeah.
We had to die first.
That's okay.
But that's
Simon
normal.
brought us back.
you emerged from the chrysalis.
Oh my gosh. We all like saw the next level.
Honestly,
We all know, understand.
it was the beginning of these 3 sessions when we analyzed the code and I saw what Dean was trying to change, right? And I realized, like, I got problems with how he does things, but he's not wrong.
No.
That's what I meant. Like when I we had the tiny little talk. It's like I really don't know how bad of a dude he is. Like he's clearly so evil
He just
coded.
seems like the principal, and no one likes the principal.
Yeah,
So,
he's like these are all. None of these seem like terrible things. Like just the only things of like
There's
trying
also,
to
like,
get
there's-
her to like step in line.
I will say the ends do not justify the means.
No.
I was going to say there's a kind of like human covert operations sort of aura that he carries around himself that's like, oh, this is a person who's used to getting what he wants and people are assets to him. And I think that that's the piece that makes him so spooktacular is like, what separates an intelligence community person from like, any, either like soldier or kind of more like physical labor, white collar, blue collar. And I think the difference is that the intelligence type person, like the spook, to use that term, a spook is someone who doesn't do their own dirty work. So everybody else, even if the ends don't justify the means and they're doing, like even if they have that same conviction, they're the one doing it. So you end up with someone who's like a radical or a whatever.
Yeah.
And with Dean, it's like he's weaponizing people to get what he wants. And I think that's what makes him so spooky. But you're right in that as far as we've seen of Dean, like it does seem like what he wants are technically acceptable things.
Yeah.
He's just like, you've like, kind of like a one strike policy. Like you stepped out of line and now Julian Brooks is scared to even talk to Jackie.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
or
And yeah, stuff like that's like the only indications we've had of him. And like, I mean, to the last thing with Jackie, like catching him, like somehow like being like, yes, the cosmetaline. I've known this, whatever that moment was.
something about that. Right. He had some kind of information
Yes,
already that didn't make sense because it was new to everyone
But
else.
even like before that, with like the thing going missing, like I went so hard, it's like he must have caught it, that my little beacon that I put out.
Right.
But it was just on the freaking planetoid.
The gravity
And it's like
flux.
it's
He
like
was
Wasn't-
receiving the data.
Interesting prediction.
I honestly think like at the center of that thing was Mark Putty's receiver.
Well, we found the receiver.
I think he found it
did we?
last
Yeah,
time.
Ronan
Oh,
found
that's
it in
right.
But in
episode
the last
7 or
episode-
8.
Never told me about it.
But it must have been
I was
transmitted.
waiting for
and
that.
Dean was keeping that.
gosh, I never did.
You never. So I was waiting this whole time and be like, "What? This is here?" But I still don't know.
forgot
Mark has no
completely.
idea.
Oh my gosh.
That's
So what is
awesome.
just sitting in my quarters, just probably on my desk, like
I feel like at some point you're just going to notice it appear back in the ship's inventory.
Uh huh.
I just invite
What do you
Mark
mean it's in the
over.
research department?
What is this? I spent so many nights up trying to figure out where this was.
He's still sleepless nights, Mark, frantically combing
So
through data.
many- so long.
Can you like? Is there like a label on it, like you put on like the back of underwear, like M Putty or something? I'm
Yeah.
like, finally, I tip it over or something. It's been in my room. I'm like,
oh, maybe that.
Or you're like,
Mark-
hey, Astro, I
I'll
found this
definitely-
thing.
Mark's sitting alone, head in his hands, like, it's too bad that lead jack you found didn't turn into anything.
I'm just gonna bring it to Astro for like scrap. You think you could take this apart for pieces and stuff we can use?
Astro's like, wait, Mark made this.
I will make sure to somehow bring it up next time.
It's definitely
Absolutely.
Or you could just say
It's
that
probably sitting in my quarters of all things.
it happens during the intermission.
Yeah, during
Yeah.
the downtime.
Mark,
Yeah.
Spend
I
next
think
week.
Mark definitely would crash out a little bit right now if he found out after all this shit. That's just another thing on the pile.
Maybe for the story, maybe it's best that it did end up back in like the warehouse somehow or something like that. Just as like maybe like it's in the actual junk pile.
I think
Maybe,
it's
like,
funnier if it comes up not from a member of the drop squad, but
Yeah.
like later down the line from Sam Nova, who's like, "Oh, I'm gonna just disassemble this thing. Did you want a piece of it as a souvenir? Or something like that." And Mark's
Since
like,
you
"It's
made it.
here."
Yeah.
Mark just crashes out.
That's
It was
awesome.
cataloged by Astro.
I really liked when I asked for time off, and the captain says, "Yeah, you can have a few days," and then the doctor says, "You can have several weeks off, Ronan."
It was meant to be like a sly wink wink kind of thing.
Okay.
Like, I'm sure we can spare you for a couple days, but I
Sure.
may not have conveyed it very
Okay,
well.
well then Jackie had said then the medical leave. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was expecting to fucking hear.
Yeah.
I died, sir.
Oh, he's like,
Suddenly we realize Captain Chet Gam has been the bad guy all
Back
along.
to work. Come on.
Yeah,
How long do you need off if you've just had a child?
Captain Chet Capitalist. Mr. Warehouse.
the alliteration. It makes sense.
Yeah, that hot chocolate's coming out of your paycheck.
Oh, I'm getting dogged.
Freaking Spirit Airlines, you're going to pay for your in-flight snack.
Here you go, nice coffee, but it's there's always a catch.
we get back to the Milky Way, and everybody's expecting their pay, and instead it's like all of these charges for Ronan's cafeteria food docked off of
Better
everyone.
yet, they're all in debt.
He definitely charged
Even
me
Ronan's
for the
in
coffee
debt,
I
even
didn't
though he
even
got
want.
paid. Like,
Oh my
Price
gosh.
of cosmetaline priceless.
What do we feel like happens next in the narrative?
Ooh.
For you all, because now we've kind of done your part as the drop squad, so we
Yeah.
could watch what you do on the ship while the science team is away. Or we could kind of skip forward to where like maybe we press on into a bold new unknown. You know what I mean? Like where do you feel like we go from here?
I could see a rest episode where maybe the research team is
Yeah, beach episode.
yeah
Yep.
where the research team is finalizing their research on the planetoid, and maybe we get like little snippets, or we can help in that.
We get the
I'm sorry,
highlights.
even if there's like a smaller trip just back, just to maybe like check up on the research,
Maybe like
or,
tear down.
yeah,
Yeah,
clean up
tear down.
stuff like
But
that, bring everything
honestly,
back. We would be
kind
the
of
best crew for
cleanup
that.
crew?
We put it up.
The B plot or A plot, depending on how we play it, could be what happened to Talia Bones.
I really want. Yeah, I hope you know that will be
Mystery.
in my head till the next.
Yeah, especially because you found like the gun.
Your gun is a one bullet. What does it mean?
On top of that, right? This is like you said, this is a personal sidearm. This
Yeah.
is something you would not leave behind.
Oh no, Ronan's definitely
And it's not something
acquired
that
it.
someone's like found and just put there, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
if it's there, Talia was there at some
No.
point.
She was kidding.
Ronan's definitely has
They
already
black
like
bagged her.
Yeah.
probably popped the bullet
Dean.
out of it and put the mag in at least, but he's definitely taken the gun with him
The
because
King Solaru's Dean is really, really strong.
if anybody understands the how much a firearm means to a person, it's definitely going to be Ronan. So
Yeah.
But I think like next steps, like we get the highlights of the research team. If we wanted to do teardown, we could. I don't think we necessarily need to play that out.
Nah.
But
sorry, not to cut you off. You have a handgun?
yeah,
I did not know you were armed. That's crazy.
Take it to the
owns
range.
I knew he came to the range with me, but I didn't know he owned his own firearm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's good.
Um,
I'll use that sometime maybe.
I guess we still need to find an actual cosmetic deposit.
Yeah.
So we.
Well,
I mean-
you've got your sample container, right?
But is that enough?
I don't know. We haven't analyzed it yet.
We don't know what's left of it, and perhaps that wasn't the only cosmetaline on the planetoid. So perhaps we'll hear that maybe we found
More.
more, but I doubt it will be a large amount. I'd
Yeah.
probably be traces.
So maybe getting the highlights from Green One, and then pressing on into the unknown if we still need more cosmetaline.
Well, and then of course we got the B plot.
Oh, you mean to go back to Earth? One sample container is definitely not
Well,
enough
yeah.
for you to
Yeah,
fly the
no,
ship
no,
home
yeah,
to
no.
Earth.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, guys, we did it. See?
So we definitely need more.
Yeah.
So like that's
No, next
still,
planetoid will
that's
definitely
still
be
like
fun.
primary objective.
I want
Right.
to see what like
that jump killed a tier 6.
Yeah.
That's
AI.
Jackie, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Stop.
We'll
'Cause
have
I'm
to do that
foreshadowing
again.
now.
Ooh.
Yeah, that means you need to be like twice as strong for our way back.
To be fair, I would have made it if it wasn't for whatever Dean did.
True.
We don't know that Dean did that.
Oh,
And on that note, this episode of the Winged Badger Tavern comes to a close. We will see you in a month. Until then,
Too long.
from all of us here at the Winged Badger Tavern, Jackie, what do we tell the people?
GG's and GM.
That's what we tell them. Bye, folks.
Bye.